Hi guys, welcome back to the Big Sew Along. I'm Ginny, and as always, I thank you very much for choosing to spend some time with me. I do not have a ton to share with you guys this week. I feel like this is one of those weeks where I have like a ton of projects sort of up in the air, but nothing finished to a point that it's shareable. However, I do have a couple of pant patterns that I want to more than anything, I want to get your opinion on these, but I also want to share a little information. So the first one is the assembly line pleated trousers. This is a picture. I think I have a line drawing too of these pants. These are a relatively new pattern, I think, from the assembly line, and I have made their almost long trousers a number of times, and I really love them. I fell in love with this pattern as soon as I saw it. This in the description is described as a drop crotch pant. I would not really describe it as a drop crotch. I would call it more of a relaxed crotch. It's definitely not like a fitted crotch where it's going to sit right against your skin. But it's not like what you guys know I consider a drop crotch, which is like something closer to your knee. So it's definitely more fitted than that. This pant has a couple of options. So the reason that I really sort of fell in love with this is because I really like this shape on me. I like the way it, generally, I like the way a pant that's like slim but tapers down to like a narrower hem and it's sort of flat across the belly. I tend to like that, the way that shape looks on me. However, there are a couple of things about this one. So this one has a couple of different options. It has a high waist and it has a lower waist, which is not a low waist. I would say that's more of like a natural waistline waist, whereas the high waist comes up higher than that. And then it has an option, the regular fit, which has darts in the seat. And then a straighter fit, which is exactly the same pant, only without those darts. So they have waistbands to accommodate whether or not you use the darts. I looked at this and when I got the pattern and I was like, well, it doesn't really look like it's that long. So I'm just going to leave it. I just left it the length that the pattern comes. I originally tried this with the high waist. Those of you who've watched me for a while know that I do have a pretty high waist. And I really thought maybe that would lay better on me. So I made the high waist and I made it in the wider version, the one without the darts in the back, because again, I'm straighter in the middle. But when I was done, that high-waisted band was like almost to my bra strap and the underband on my bra. I was like, that's too high. aside from which, it's just, I mean, that's just uncomfortable. Also, the waistband was too wide. So I went back, I just removed that waistband and then I put the darts in the pants and I made the lower waistband and applied that. Now, this pant is supposed to have a side zipper. In these pictures I'm showing you here, it does not have a side zipper because I just didn't put one in. It's just pinned together. This is just my muslin. I should have said at the beginning, I know it's disappointing. I know muslins are like boring to look at. But here's the thing. I'm not sure whether or not I like these pants. So I don't really want to make them again in like regular fashion fabric until I get some feedback. Which is why we're here today. So back to these pants. So this is what they look like. I don't know if I said this. I cut a size medium. And just for reference, you guys, I think these have a 3/4 inch hem. I did not shorten these pants. Now, if you look at the pants from their website, they're meant to be cropped. So I will shorten these for future. But for anybody who's taller than 5'3", just keep that in mind. You may actually need to lengthen these pants depending on how tall you are. Okay, so when I first finished these pants, I hated them. I was like, these are ugly, they're too full in the leg, they're stupid, I'm not wearing these. And I threw them off to the side. And then I came back to take these photographs for this video yesterday, and when I was looking at the photographs, I was like, you know what, actually I don't hate these pants. I think I like these pants. I have a couple of fabric options for these. I did just order a like a very lightweight corduroy from Oak Fabrics. I don't have a picture of that, so I can't show you. Well, maybe I do. If I have a picture, you won't be able to tell. It's black. It's like got hash marks in it, but it's black. I also have this. It's just denim, but it's a good blue, and it's a nice, I'd say mid-weight. It's not super heavy. I don't know ounces in denim, but it's certainly not like a 10 or 12 ounce. It's lighter than that. This was gifted to me by Charlotte a few weeks ago, so I didn't have any plans for this, but I also don't own any denim pants. So I thought that this would be really cute in that style. I feel like that style could sort of sustain something that's a little bit stiffer, since it has a side zip instead of like an elastic waist or something. Okay, I think that's it for the assembly line pleated pants. The next ones I made were the Marlies Reukers Jigsaw pants. And thank you very much, Samantha, for telling me how to pronounce her name. She left me a comment last week letting me know, so thank you so much. I appreciate that. Marlies Reukers Jigsaw pants. These pants come in a huge variety of sizes and a variety of lengths. For reference, I printed out the size 6 and the length 2. And I'm 5'3", but I will leave all that information in the description box below. So they have a few options. They have a mid-rise or a high-rise option. They have a cuff or a plain hem. I think those are really the only two options. They also have a couple of interesting pleats. One is at the hip, which is the very last thing you do in this pattern before you put your waistband on. And they have one towards the back. And those are both, I suspect, those are both really for movement. These are meant to be unisex pants, and I think they really are meant to be more of like a active pant. I really am making them more as a fashion pant. I think it works either way, but I think that that is why she has those pleats built in there, just for easy movement. Okay, so I originally printed out the high-rise version, but having just come off the assembly line pants, I decided that the high-rise was going to be too high. So I then went with the low-rise, and it is too low. You can see my waistband is not folded over as far as it's supposed to be in this. It's only folded over 1 inch. It should be folded over 2 inches. You can see from the back here, I'm on the verge of what Esme would call a hungry bum syndrome. If I had folded the waistband over the full 2 inches, it was definitely a situation. So I will, if I make these again, I will make them in the high-rise version. They say in the instructions, if you have a full seat, go with the high-rise. If you have to do a flat seat adjustment ever, then maybe go with the low-rise. I don't usually have to do a full or flat seat adjustment. I just was basing this off of my experience with the assembly line pants, which is what I had just finished. So I really do feel like I should have just gone with a higher rise. This pant, because it's made from all these pieces, and I should have said this before, I think there are a total of, I can't remember, I think there are a total of 15 pieces in this. But because of the way it's constructed, there are very few places where you can do alterations. Obviously, you can shorten the hem if you need to. You can lower the rise a little bit or raise the rise a little bit. At the waistline, I mean just with the waistband by making it bigger or smaller, or cutting the top of the pants down a little bit if you need to. But that, you could maybe take in the leg at the inseam a little bit. Those are really it. Like, you can't do a ton of alterations on these pants. So even though I know that the 15 pieces is daunting, I highly recommend doing a muslin first. I'm really glad that I did the muslin first. And I have to tell you, even though this was just a muslin, this was a super fun project to make. It was really, really fun. Now, at the end of the day, I'm not sure if I like this shape on me. So I need your opinions on that. Do I make these pants again? Or do I, in the higher rise, obviously, or do I just move on to something else? I mean, sometimes it's hard to be objective. So just let me know in the comments what you think. I do have fabric for these. I have 2 pieces of lightweight cotton twill, an olive green and a black. And I thought it could be fun for fall to do a little patchworky kind of thing. There is, in the instructions, there's something like this. It's obviously like a line drawing, but it actually shows where all the pieces go. So I thought I could just use this to sort of color in the different pieces and figure out which pieces I wanted to make which color. I will say the other thing about this is the instructions on this are really, really good. They're very clear. They're very extensive. So, I mean, the number of instructions can be a little daunting on this, but Marlies has videos to go along with these pants. And her instructions couldn't possibly be more clear or easy to follow. So I will link that video for you below in case you want to take a look at that. It's going to be kind of confusing if you don't already have the pattern, but if you know, just so you can see what's going on. She does include in the pattern a set of little numbers or letters that you can stick on each pattern piece so you know what's what. You will definitely want to mark them in some way. I don't know if you can tell in my muslin here, I literally just wrote on each piece in ink what letter it was so I wouldn't get confused. You'll also want to be sure you know which is your right and wrong side if you're using a fabric that is not easy to tell, because there's so many pieces here it could get really mixed up really easily. That said, I'm gonna say it took me about, for the muslin, after printing out the pattern, so cutting the fabric and sewing it together probably took about 5 hours. And I was taking a few breaks to watch the Great British Sewing Bee in between, so it could have been a little bit less if I had been paying more attention. But I think once you make it, it would be a lot easier, obviously, to make the next one. Okay, is that all I have to say about that? Alright, you guys, I guess that is it. That's all I have. I am working on a few other projects. I am working on the Merchant and Mill Scout shirt. I know I had several people ask me for a sew-along for that, so I'm working on that right now, and hopefully I will have that for you in a week or so. Until next time, I wish you all happy sewing.